Good afternoon, Nairobi. Good afternoon, Patriots. As I said yesterday, we are live today. It's been a while since we had our last live broadcast. The last time we had our broadcast was the week before I unveiled my running mate, James Gathungu. That is now done. And we've been very busy trying to meet the IBC requirements towards the nomination. Our nomination, mine and James, will be happening on the 1st of June 2017 at 8:30 p.m. at the Kasarani Stadium. So it's not going to be a public event. It's not a rally. And the IBC is discouraging people from congregating there. But we have met the requirements and we are going to be on the ballot as expected. I know that there have been a lot of rumors, speculations, malicious filth being peddled by the cartels and their surrogates about me and my family, all of which is not just fake and completely false, very malicious. Number one, I would like this to be very, very clear to Kenyans. My children and members of my family have nothing to do with this campaign. Absolutely nothing to do with this campaign. The person running for public office is Miguna Miguna. If you have issue with Miguna Miguna, deal with it. If you have any scandal on Miguna Miguna, reveal it. Bring it forward. Let's see it. If you have any evidence that Miguna Miguna has committed a crime, has stolen anything, has grabbed any land, bring it forward. If you have evidence that Miguna Miguna is immoral, bring it forward. But leave my children out of it. Number two, my daughter, Atieno, is not called Juma. So that's fake, number one. I don't have a child called Atieno Juma. So if somebody wants to give me a child by that name, I decline respectfully because I have enough children. I have 5 children and none of them is called Atieno Juma. Number 3, my daughter Atieno Miguna is not the same person allegedly on the sites that the Nairobian have published. And she has never been. So if there is some filthy-minded beast who is subscribing to sex sites and is purporting to have found my daughter in one of them, the beast should deal with his bestiality and should not bring it to the Miguna household. Ask yourself a very simple question. My children do not live in Kenya. My children do not go to school in Kenya. None of my children works in Kenya. The alleged child that is supposed to have been on this site is not a Kenyan. And the alleged name that was supposed to have been used on this site was not Atieno and was not Miguna. So ask yourself the question, if you go to a website with hundreds of thousands of images and names, and there is no Miguna on that site, and there is no Atieno on that site, so how do you then come up with a connection between the name Miguna and whatever else you got on that site? There is absolutely no connection. Because number one, you have never met the girl. You have never interacted with the girl. The girl has never lived in Kenya. The girl has never attended any school in Kenya. The girl has never worked in Kenya. The girl is not a Kenyan. So, under those circumstances, this is nothing but a vendetta, a malicious, filthy campaign to besmirch my character and that of my family. And I shall deal with it effectively starting next Monday. Number 4. This is very important. Number 4. These beasts then claim that I was married to Atieno's mother. I've only been married once and I've never divorced. So that again is a falsehood. Yes, Atieno is my daughter, but not the girl that they're trying to show and the images they're trying to show. Atieno's mother and I separated when Atieno was 3 years old. So start thinking. All right? Miguna is supposed to be a bad parent because Miguna had a child with a woman he did not marry. How many in this world have children with women they have not married? Hundreds of millions of people around the world. It's not a crime. Get something on Miguna and get it right. Then you can address it. Don't make anything up. So there was no marriage. There was no divorce. So that's lie number 4. Lie number 5. These are very, very important. And people should listen to what I'm saying, because I will deal with this to its logical conclusion. So assuming it was right, and it is not correct, it is not right, and you are going to websites and revealing images of people on those websites, how does that relate to Miguna and Miguna running for public office in Nairobi? This person is not running for public office. This person is not a Kenyan. This person does not work for Kenya or in Kenya. How does that now attach to me? And as the filthy Nairobian has been doing this, together with the cartel surrogates at the Standard Group, you've had a list of 23 names of very dirty looters, people who have sabotaged the Kenyan economy and have reduced citizens of this country to servitude, to suffering, to exploitation, where garbage is everywhere in Nairobi. Millions of people live in slums. The unemployment is more than 75%. There is no light rail system in Nairobi. The traffic is a hellhole, and that name was released 2 days before they came up with this filth. Did they put that in the national, in the headings of their newspapers, in the headlines? No, you have not seen it. Have they been pursuing these cases? No, they are not pursuing those cases. But those are the cases that are of national interest. Those are the cases that would make a difference to a resident of Nairobi. Those are the monies that have been looted that will put food on the table for the residents of Nairobi. Because if the money was not looted, it would have gone towards creating infrastructure, would have created jobs for the unemployed youth, would have built housing for the homeless and for the people who live in slums, and would have helped Nairobians live in a humane environment. The media is not concerned about that. The media is concerned about hounding, harassing, blackmailing, defaming, scandalizing the only honest candidate for the gubernatorial seat in Nairobi. They're not concerned about how many or how much drugs, illicit drugs, Sonko is peddling. They're not concerned about the looting that Peter Kenneth did at Kenyari. They're not concerned about any of that. The compromised and contaminated media, the cartel media, led by the Standard, is only concerned about sabotaging, trying to undermine an honest man, the only candidate in the Republic of Kenya with a clear vision, with a very crystal clear manifesto, with spiffy policies, and with concrete programs that will transform governance and service delivery for the city of Nairobi. That's the only person they are trying to hound. So you can see that the evil interests, the cartel interests, have converged between the basket of deplorables, Kidero Evans, Mike Sonko, Peter Kenneth on the one side, and Miguna Miguna on the other. So now they believe that if you cannot find any evidence against Miguna of misappropriation of public resources, of any unethical behavior as a lawyer, as a writer, as a husband, as a father, as a man, you concoct it, you manufacture it, you invade the privacy of an innocent child. You try to scandalize a 22-year-old that has done absolutely nothing to you. You scandalize an innocent girl with a future, and you try to undermine that girl's future because you hate her father, because you don't want an innocent man to occupy public office in the Republic of Kenya. So you start going after his children. It is immoral, it is evil, it is illegal, it is sick, and we must fight it robustly. We must fight it legally, we must fight it publicly, we must fight it everywhere we can. I appeal to the patriots of this city. Do not allow the cartels and their surrogates to distort information, to undermine truth, to fight honesty, to sabotage vision, and to try and stop a transformative system that is on course to transform this city from a third world banana, I almost said banana republic city, to a first world, efficient, clean, and properly managed city. This is what we must do. So wherever you are, whether you are in one of the 120 slums in Nairobi, whether you are university educated or college educated, whether you are primary school educated or secondary school educated, whether you are illiterate or literate, whether you are unemployed or employed, whether you consider yourself rich or poor, whoever you are, wherever you are, I'm appealing to you. Put aside tribal differences and petty hatreds. Put aside your provincialism. Put aside any hatred you have for the truth. Put aside the culture of handout and dependency on looters. Put aside your fear of the unknown and embrace transformation. Embrace truth. Embrace honesty. Embrace a vision that is brought forward by the will of God to transform this city once and for all. And to do that, I am appealing to you to traverse your neighborhoods, talk to voters, explain to voters the virtues and the values of living in a clean city, in living in a city with modern infrastructure that can only be built by a man of integrity. Explain to your neighbors, explain to your workmates, explain to your fellow students, explain to your family and relatives and your friends that we have a historic opportunity coming August 8th, when we must defeat the organized criminals, whether they are operating at State House or operating in any of the so-called opposition parties, whether they are operating in any of the houses of parliament, the Senate, or the National Assembly, whether it's operating at the City Hall. We must defeat these cartels. The cartels are Evans Odhiambo Kidero, Mike Mbuvi Sonko, and Peter Kenneth. These are the cartels. They can go to court tomorrow or on Monday if they don't like it. I call them the cartels because we have the evidence that they are. These is not like the lies that they are trying to propagate. I called Evans Odhiambo Kidero the Dean of Looters and a chief cartel because of the following reasons. Evans Odhiambo Kidero has worked throughout his life and has earned modestly throughout his life. He has worked either in the private sector or in the government most recently. He was not earning $1 billion shillings a year. The maximum Odhiambo Kidero earned was 800,000 Kenya shillings, the amount he's earning right now. That's not enough to make somebody a multi-billionaire. So Evans Odhiambo Kidero became a multi-billionaire out of looting and stealing public assets, primarily public land, that he steals and sells. He has done it in Nairobi, he's done it in Kisumu, he's done it in Homa Bay County. I have the evidence. He can go to court, I will prove it in court. The man stole all public assets in Mumias until the going concern, the company that was thriving, went belly up. Then he migrated to Nairobi to continue his looting spree and has continued to do so according to the Auditor General. This is a bad thief. He's a money launderer, as KRA and Central Bank and the NGO Council or NGO Board have already demonstrated when they banned, deregistered his Evans Kidero Foundation. So this is not a man that should again be vested with public authority, power, in a public office to preside over his looting of public assets again. The same man is a very violent man. You have seen him physically hit, beat, assault Rachel Shebez. The other day, I heard his deputy and him saying, Kidero has never been taken to court. Kidero has been taken to court many, many times. Kidero was arrested and charged criminally for assaulting Shebez. Then he bribed the judges. Then he got away with it. Kidero was taken to court for looting public assets and stashing it in 15 bank accounts. And he went, bribed the judiciary and the EACC and blocked the case from going forward. Kidero was accused of bribing the Supreme Court with 200 million to 300 million Kenya shillings. Again, he got off through bribing everybody. Kidero has been to court many times. He's in court right now for his Kidero Foundation. His lawyer, Tom Ojienda, he's been taken to court for keeping hundreds of millions to billions of public money in his trust account on behalf of Kidero. Kidero was also in court through his proxies. Wainaina, his chief of staff, is facing fraud charges in court because he's been stealing for Kidero. Kiamba is in court for looting 2.3 billion on behalf of Odhiambo Kidero. This is a horrible thief. On top of it, the man is very incompetent. The man has no vision. The man has no manifesto. The man has no policy. The man has no programs. He is a complete failure. Electing him is a crime. I appeal to you not to commit that crime, not to be complicit in Kidero Evans' looting spree. How about Mbuvi Sonko? Mbuvi Sonko is worse than Odhiambo Kidero. Mbuvi Sonko is the worst of the worst in the Republic of Kenya. He has a criminal record for fraud and land grabbing and theft and drug trafficking. He was sentenced for more than 6 months, which is the stipulated constitutional provision. At Shimolatewa, he escaped from prison, committed the second crime, and has not gone back. He changed his name, has forged a degree, he has a fake degree. And so this is a multiple criminal. On top of it, he's peddling illicit drugs, cocaine and heroin in Nairobi and Mombasa. He's killing our innocent children by peddling drugs. The so-called Sonko rescue teams are vehicles mainly used for shipping and transshipping drugs in the city of Nairobi. That is what they are used for primarily. They're not rescuing anybody. They are used for distribution of drugs. Sonko single-handedly destroyed Buruburu, the estate that we, who used to go to the University of Nairobi, used to call the 14th hall, because whenever you qualified and graduated from the University of Nairobi, even as a DE or a district officer, that's where graduates used to go and live. You cannot live there anymore. Well, people live there, but the conditions are very bad. Not only is it dirty, broken down, a lot of drugs, a lot of brothels, a lot of music all over throughout the night. That is Mbuvi Sonko's legacy to Buruburu, to Nairobi. He's not just a thief, a land grabber who learned how to grab land when his father used to be the registrar of land in Kwale. But this man is a drug dealer whom the FBI and the CIA petitioned Kenya to expatriate or to repatriate, to take to the US to be tried and punished. So he has not reformed. Wearing a suit does not replace a demented brain. A primitive man will be a primitive man, whether they wear a suit or they walk naked. So Mbuvi Sonko has not become civilized because he's now wearing suits. Mbuvi Sonko has not acquired a new brain because somebody tailored him up. Mbuvi Sonko has not become logical and reasonable and civilized because somebody told him to wear a suit. Mbuvi Sonko will not be different because now they have given him somebody called Igathe, Chris Kirubi's son. Now let's talk about Chris Kirubi's son. Number one, Chris Kirubi's son is not running for governor of Nairobi. Only Mbuvi Sonko is. These are not delegated duties. When you are elected governor, you're not going to delegate executive duties to your deputy. So we must deconstruct that lie. It's not going to happen. Number two, Igathe is as rotten as Evans Kidero. There is nothing there. He was part of the board of directors of Uchumi supermarkets between May 2015 and March 2016, when Uchumi went belly up. These are looters. He learned looting from his father, who bankrupted Kenatco, and also was part of Uchumi, and was also part of the troubles in KQ, Kenya Airways. These are bad thieves. These are proven thieves. Then look at his qualifications. What does Igathe bring to the table? I myself have a BA before I went to law school. So Igathe has a BA, that's all he has. But then, unlike me, my father was just a peasant, so I didn't get to be appointed an MD after my BA, so I had to study law. I got my doctor, Juris Doctor, and I got my LLM. Igathe only gets an BA. So he has just the same degree that Sonko does have. If at all he does have. We understand he does. So if Sonko has a BA and Igathe has a BA, where is the value addition? They both have BAs. So unless Sonko is saying, he's confessing that his BA is fake, therefore he's gone to bring Igathe with a legitimate BA, so that can give him some kind of credibility. It doesn't give you credibility. Just because you have the title MD does not make you competent, does not make you ethical, does not give you integrity, does not give you vision. It does not put policies in your head. It does not put programs for the city in your head. It does not mean that you can actually transform the city. So the ticket of Igathe and Sonko dead in the water. The less said about the incompetent flower girl, Peter Kenneth, the better. There is nothing about Peter Kenneth to be spoken about. I never asked money, and everybody knows. The cartels are trying, they want. So Peter Kenneth has been lying all over. You know, he has a jiggered mind, according to Ahadi Kenya. He's a proven failure, who for 10 years as a member of parliament for Katanga, never legislated anything, never sponsored a motion, never spoke in the house, never chaired a committee of parliament. So a pathetic, incompetent looter. He's cleaned up himself by wearing fake suits and has come forward to want to be elected. Why did he run away from Nairobi when he went to Katanga? He was born in Nairobi. He went to school in Nairobi. He did his A-levels and failed in Nairobi. So why did he go off to Katanga? This tribalist. He went off to Katanga because he thought, because he believes in the mafia politics, you needed some credibility from the village. So he went to get credibility from the village. So how come in 2013 when he ran for president, he couldn't even get 5,000 votes from Katanga? Raila Odinga beat him in Katanga. Raila Odinga is from Nyanza. Raila Odinga got 5,000 votes. This fake myth, the mythical beauty called Peter Kenneth, did not even make 2,000 in Gatanga. In Nairobi, he couldn't even get 3,000 votes. So the man is a complete failure, and there is nothing he's going to do for Nairobi. So that's what you have. I'm not going to mention Marende because he has not shown that he's interested in this seat. He's not campaigning. He's never appeared in any media house to tell us whether he's running or not. So people should completely ignore him. So here you have only one credible candidate. It is my candidature, with a young man called James Gathangu, who is just 24 years of age. We actually practice what we preach. I said that I'm going to empower the youth. I'm not going to turn the youth into dependent robots the way Kidero and Sonko is turning them. People who just line up all day long for handouts of 200 shillings. I am going with Mr. Gathangu, turn this city into a prosperous city, a city that cares about its citizens, but primarily a city for the youth. The youth is the future. The youth is the future of Nairobi, and the youth is the future of Kenya. We must empower the youth. We must empower the youth by creating skills centers, centers where technology incubation can take place, where innovators, creators, resourceful youth can find avenues to develop their entrepreneurial skills. We must create employment, adequate quality, well-paying jobs for the youth, so that the mantra that the future belongs to the youth is brought to a reality today, not tomorrow. So I've done it today. I've appointed a 24-year-old as my running mate. James graduated with second-class honors upper division in statistics, BSc in statistics, in 2015. Those who say that he has no experience because of that should ask the question, when did Mike Mbuvi Sonko get his degree? The fake one. He got it last year, 2016. So he's younger than James by 1 year, even with his fake degree. If we were to give him some kind of, cut him some slack and say that degree might be legitimate when it is not. James graduated in 2015. He was a student leader. I've seen his transcripts. He's a bright young man. I've seen even his continuous assessment tests. Ask Mbuvi, do you have a copy of your continuous assessment tests? He never did them. Do you have a copy of your major research papers that you did? He doesn't have. Do you have a copy of your admission? He does not have. If you look at his admission number correctly from the university he purportedly attended, you will find that that admission number belongs to another student. That is Mbuvi. That is after he ran away from St. Paul's University after he realized that they would not give him a fake degree. So James is not just more qualified than Mbuvi and has more experience than Mbuvi and has a brain when Mbuvi doesn't have. James was also a student leader and is a businessman in the city of Nairobi. This is a young man that has bought 2 vehicles by himself out of doing business. He's in the business of printing. He's not doing entrepreneuring. He's not giving bribes or receiving bribes. And before he joined me in this race, was a political advisor to a member of parliament. So give the guy respect, giving his due credit. He's earned it. This is the man who is my running mate. It is to ensure that the youth agenda will be front and square in my administration. He will have a portfolio, unlike Mweke, who is supposed to be deputizing Kidero without a portfolio. James is going to have a significant portfolio in this administration, including the portfolio of youth empowerment, so that he can be in charge of his fellow youth, so that if there is failure, his fellow youth can come and scream and demonstrate and bring us to account. We are going to be a transparent and an accountable administration. James is from Muranga. The cartel media will not tell you that. He's from Muranga. And we know the demographics in the city. We are not doing things in futility. We do have credible scientific study on what the demographics are in terms of voters. So whereas we have more than 65% of youth voters in Nairobi, so James represents them and is the only one at that position in the entire country. The youth should put their votes where they are represented. Muranga voters, people who trace their origin to Muranga, should also vote accordingly. Because I've been told, I'm not naive, I've been told, oh, Miguna, Kenya is a tribal state. Well, every country is tribal because we all belong to our ethnic nationalities. But that does not mean that we should be driven, be guided, be directed, be dictated, be slaves of ethnicity. Chauvinism, ethnic chauvinism is a bad thing. We are not going to practice it in this administration. We are all Kenyans. All Kenyan communities are going to be welcome in this administration and will play a significant role in this administration. But that is not to fail to acknowledge where we all come from. We were not born of monkeys or trees. We came from specific communities. So we must acknowledge that and then say we are all Kenyans and embrace patriotism. So working together with James, we are going to unveil this manifesto, the only transformative organic manifesto in the Republic of Kenya. Nairobi is going to have a light rail system under my administration within 5 years. The light rail system is going to be within 5 years. Nairobi is going to have a solid waste management system in 5 years. Nairobi is going to have a massive rebuilding of the so-called slums so that everyone, 75% of the people who live there, can live in humane, affordable housing, modern, with running water, with electricity, and with gardens that are planned. Everyone is going to have a walkway so that they don't walk on the road and endanger themselves. Everyone is going to have access to gardens and recreational facilities. We are going to also encourage and make sure we support sports and trade in Nairobi. We are going to initiate and unveil the railway system that is underground, the subway system, the tube. That work may not finish within 5 years because it is major, but it will be started. It will continue. We will construct it. And in 5 years, when Miguna hangs up his gloves, because I'm not intending to go for 2 terms, James will be in a position to continue our legacy and leave something concrete, transformative, uplifting, and leave prosperity to the citizens of this city. We deserve it, we need it, and we needed it like yesterday. It must be done. It will be done. It shall be done. Mobilize. Stop agonizing. Don't pay attention to those who are peddling rumors. Don't pay attention to those purveyors of negativity, the cynics, the agonizers, the people who want to condemn us by the cartels. So tell them, you have had 5 years. You've had longer, actually, longer period of time to dig and come up with something against Miguna. You've had more than enough time and you are rich. You have your billions. You have access to the so-called best lawyers, best accountants, best everything. Go get evidence that Miguna has stolen anything. Go get evidence that Miguna has grabbed any land. Go get evidence that Miguna is incompetent. Go get evidence that Miguna is a failure in terms of his vision, in terms of his integrity, in terms of Miguna's ideological clarity, in terms of Miguna's plans and his commitment to them. That is the basis of judging a good candidate vis-a-vis a bad one. Nairobians cannot be denied this chance to develop, to grow, to become prosperous because of an organized, evil, crooked group of looters. They have brought us 2 looters, 3. They are determined to keep you in bondage, either under Kidero or under Peter Kenneth or under Sonko. Tell them no. There is no school where Sonko learned anything. He didn't learn leadership. Sonko wants to turn Nairobi into the headquarters of drug trafficking in the world. Sonko is banned from traveling to the United States and to all European cities. How is he going to represent Nairobi in these places? How is he going to attract investment in Nairobi when he can't travel anywhere? Kidero Evans is banned from going to the United States because of his corruption cases. They are banned. These 2 people cannot go anywhere. Kidero Evans and Sonko. They cannot bring development. They cannot partner with cities in North America and in Europe. They can't. Peter Kenneth is not banned yet, but I will make sure he's banned because I have evidence and I will present it when we get into position of power. Right now, I'm a private citizen and our powers are limited. They will use the crooked institutions to besmirch our characters and to undermine our advancement. So we don't want to get involved in unnecessary dissipation or dilution of our focus, our power. I appeal to you to be laser focused, to be disciplined, not to allow these petty purveyors of retrogression to sideswipe you. Let us move together. Let us mobilize everyone we can reach. We must liberate Nairobi. Miguna Boma Ye. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.